We're going to move now to our final closing keynote. We have Amanda Silver from Microsoft, who's going to discuss creating inclusive and accessible software. Amanda is a corporate vice president and head of product for Microsoft's developer division, or DevDiv. Her focus on customer-driven engineering with a tight digital feedback loop has fueled culture change at Microsoft and has led to the delivery of products loved by developers. She championed customer-focused innovations like Visual Studio, LiveShare, and IntelliCode, which have transformed how developers and teams build and collaborate worldwide. She's also played a major part in the introduction of Microsoft's open source products, having led the TypeScript and Visual Studio Code launches, and she played a key role in the acquisitions of Xamarin and GitHub. So we're really delighted to have Amanda here with us today, and I'll turn it over to you. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thanks for having me. So hey, everybody, my name is Amanda Silver. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the head of product for Microsoft's developer tools, and I'm general manager for the engineering systems inside of Microsoft that support Microsoft's software developers. So we work on things like Visual Studio Code and GitHub and .NET and TypeScript and the developer experience for Microsoft's public cloud, which is Azure. So for as long as I can remember, my personal career mission has been to help developers and their teams unleash their creative potential and, obviously to use technology to achieve more. I'm really thrilled to be here today to talk about how Microsoft thinks about creating inclusive and accessible experiences for software developers so that they can then go and create more inclusive and accessible experiences for their users. Now, I'd like to start by setting some context. There are over 1 billion people in the world living with disabilities, and many face barriers to employment and education and societal inclusion. And in 2021, Microsoft launched a 5-year initiative to address these challenges by focusing on 3 priorities. First, developing more accessible technology using this technology to create opportunities for people with disabilities to enter the workforce and to build more inclusive workplace for people with disabilities inside of Microsoft. Now, Amanda, the goal,
Might I ask you to reshare just your full screen version of the slides? We're seeing the presenter view.
Oh, sure.
Thank you so much. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Just a sec. All right. Can we share the other screen? There we go. Okay. So our goal is to really bridge the disability divide and to empower the untapped talent pool of people with disabilities. Now, digital technology can play a really crucial role in improving communication, in interaction, and in access to information for this community. So as technology continues to advance, it really becomes increasingly important for companies to consider the accessibility of their products and their services to make sure that people with disabilities aren't left behind. And I think it really relates to a lot of what the earlier panelists were talking about in terms of smart cities and transportation. Obviously, a lot of people are interacting with the software that facilitates onboarding and kind of what their users experience with that. And so a lot of that is really about how do we actually make accessible software. So accessibility is not only great for, the end users, but it's also great for business. So with at least 1 in 5 adults in the United States identifying as having a disability, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the cost of ignoring this market segment is really huge. Now, designing inclusive products and services with people with disabilities in mind also improves the experience for all users. I'm sure you all can think about features like video captioning and voice control, which are really crucial to accessibility tools for some individuals, but they really make the experience better for everybody. Now, during the COVID-19 pandemic, demand for our accessibility features inside of Microsoft products like Teams, features like Teams captioning increased by 30 times, and the immersive reader usage increased by 560%. So additionally, a 2018 study led by Accenture found that inclusive companies had, over a 4-year period, 28% higher revenue, double the net income, and 30% higher economic profit and margins than their peers. So when we think about inclusion and accessibility, we see it as a virtuous cycle. Inclusion involves actively seeking out and valuing diverse perspectives and experiences and ensuring that everyone has a sense of belonging. Now, accessibility refers to the design of products and services and environments that are usable by as many people as possible, regardless of their abilities or disabilities. The term disability includes a range of conditions, more than you might think, including dyslexia, ADHD, depression, cancer, diabetes, chronic illnesses, and anxiety. And a lot of these are they can also be, you can have a temporary disability as well. So fostering inclusive environments and ensuring that everyone has access to the resources and the opportunities can really open the door for a lot of individuals with disabilities that otherwise wouldn't be able to participate. So now let's talk about how we approach inclusion and accessibility at Microsoft as a whole and on my team in particular. Now, our ability to adapt to and to design for our customers' changing needs is really what has kept us relevant. And we've built a really large and loyal community of people who love and use our developer products every day. So one of the new ideas that we've embraced is this idea of inclusive design, a methodology that really aims to create products and services and environments that are accessible and usable by as many people as possible, regardless of their age, gender, ability, or cultural background. Inclusive design involves designing with a diverse range of users in mind, including those with disabilities and sensory impairments and cognitive limitations and other special needs. And it also involves considering the diversity of cultural and social backgrounds that the users come from, as well as their different levels of experience and expertise. So at a high level, inclusive design is comprised of 3 steps. First, recognize exclusion. Designing for inclusivity not only opens up our products and services to more people, it also reflects how the people really are. All humans grow and adapt to the world around them, and we want our designs to reflect that. Second, solve for one, extend to many. Everyone has abilities and limits to those abilities. Designing for people with permanent disabilities actually results in designs that benefit people universally. Learn from diversity. Human beings are the real experts in adapting to diversity. Inclusive design puts people in the center from the very start of the process. And it's those fresh, diverse perspectives that are really the key to true insight. Inclusive design is not only important for creating accessible products and services, but it also has economic and social benefits. It can help to increase market share by reaching more customers, improve customer satisfaction, and create more socially responsible and sustainable solutions. And it can also help to reduce the costs of retrofitting existing products and services to make them more accessible. So overall, inclusive design is a really critical approach to creating products and services that are more equitable, accessible, and beneficial for everyone. Now, on my team, which is focused on developer tools like Visual Studio and .NET and TypeScript, we see our responsibility to take a critical look at how developers and their teams are learning and creating and collaborating now and how that might evolve in the future. And it's our responsibility to meet change with curiosity. To create products that work for different kinds of developers, we also want to make it easy or seamless, really, for developers to create accessible products from the outset. So one example of this is something that we've been working on that actually just shipped in the latest version of Visual Studio, which we call the Visual Studio Accessibility Checker. And that allows you to detect many common accessibility issues for desktop applications. So let's check out a real quick demo.
Hey folks, I want to show you the new accessibility tools that we released in the newest update of Visual Studio 2022. Now I've got a simple calculator app on the screen right now, and I want to know if it's got any accessibility issues. I'm going to click this button, and the accessibility checker is going to give it a quick run and take a look to see if there's any accessibility issues that may cause problems for people who are using an assistive technology like, say, a screen reader. Now, after a moment, it's going to show me a handful of issues that are things that may cause problems for folks with disabilities. I'm going to look at one of these, and I can see that I've got a problem on a control named display box. It's telling me that the name property is null, and All I need to do to fix it is provide a UI automation name that identifies the element. So I'm going to go into my code document, look for the control name display box. There it is. Jump to the end of the line. Automation properties.name. There we are. Thanks to Hot Reload, it's already updated my application, and if I rescan, that problem has gone away. These are the first of our tools that we're putting into Visual Studio to help developers develop accessible applications.
Awesome. So that's just one example of how we can actually build tools into our developer tools so that software developers can make sure that their software is actually accessible and available for everyone. You know, complicated problems really require creative solutions. We should go back to the slides. And the creative solutions, they really require diverse developers. And we've actually seen on my own team that developing these tools, we actually have a range of abilities of the developers on my team that work on the tools that you guys just saw. So that actually helps inform all the different kinds of needs that we might have as we're actually testing the resulting software. So it's those engineers with physical disabilities, with cognitive differences, and unique ways of making that are really invaluable to our products and to our teams. And they help us make better software so that you can all make better software. So in short, when engineering teams are inclusive, the products that they build for their customers are inclusive too. So I think that has the power to empower really every person everywhere to achieve more. I'm proud to be representing the work that our team does at Microsoft, and thank you for having me today.
Thank you, Amanda. Really appreciate that quick overview and all of the work that you're doing to make digital applications more inclusive for everyone. So we come to the end of our program, and I just have a few remaining remarks that I hope you'll stick around and join me for. We've heard amazing stories today, and I just want to reflect for a minute on this theme of resilience. It's come up, it's in the title of the symposium. Resilient infrastructures are able to withstand extraordinary stress. Some are tuned to adapt and thrive under difficult conditions. Or in the short definition from our first keynote speaker, resilience is making sure resources will be available for the long term. Many of those from backgrounds underrepresented in STEM can attest to the need to be resilient. Often facing challenging environments, they find a way to persist, make their mark, and inspire and mentor the next generation. Resilience also requires pacing ourselves to make sure that we have our own intellectual and emotional resources to succeed in the long term. Resilience, whether in ourselves, our students, or our peers, it's a quality to be cultivated and called out and celebrated. Before we go, thanks again to our sponsors, Lam Research, Agilent, Siemens, Sandia, and the other great supporters. We couldn't do it without you. A special thanks to our Symposium Planning Committee, and especially to Lori Mariano and her logistics team, Cheryl Martinez and the marketing team, and especially to Edge and Tech Director Jill Finlayson, and all of our colleagues who helped to organize panels and contribute as speakers. You're impressive technologists, inclusive leaders, and amazing role models. And I have to say, just a joy to work with. So thank you. Your words have helped people imagine new roles, jobs, and impact that we could have through creating smarter tech for a resilient future.